Hello, hello, lovely sim racers. I'm Constantinos, and this is Lovely Sim Racing, and this is the 15th. That is correct, 15. 15, 10 plus 5. Chill chat and dev session. Honestly, I can't believe it's 15. Yeah, rock on. That's all I can say. Hopefully there'll be many, many more. Today, you can already see on my picture-in-picture, I'm baffled. I'm troubled. I'm pissed off and angry. I can't get things to work the way I want them to. And even when I did chat with Nicola from SimHub, it just appears to be one of those issues, and it is a major issue, and I'm trying to fix it, but I cannot find out. I'll explain what the problem is, I'll explain what the problem is, what I'm doing, and how it works. And hope you guys understand. Like, I've tried to fix it, and I just cannot. It is data, the way the data is being handled from the game through SimHub. I will try. I'll spend some more time today and try and figure it out, but I just have to basically, I mean, you also have to accept that that is a problem. And I had this issue during the 24-hour race. I saw it. I felt it. It wasn't good. But the alternative is not much better. So at first I thought maybe that's a solution, but then the more I saw it, the more I understood what the problem is. Having a chat with Nicola today didn't solve any of my issues. In fact, it just made me more furious. Yeah, I'm lucky that the monitors are still in place. That's all I'm saying. Mark, welcome to the stream. Jason, you are the first to purchase a exclusive gold member T-shirt. Hopefully you'll have it in just a couple of days. And it says 5 days, I think. You'll have it. Hey, Kevin Lewis, you're welcome. Well, thank you very much for the kind words. I don't think it's the greatest dashboard. I'm really angry at what I'm trying to do and I can't fix. Hope all of you are doing well. Last night I tried to do some racing, but I wasn't in that. I was in that position, in that place yesterday, so it was completely gone, like the entire thing. I completely destroyed my LFM ELO. I've dropped out. Like if there was a category below rookies, I'd probably be in it. I think my safety rating dropped all the way down to like, I don't know. It's on the first levels right now. I'm probably going to see if I can do some private, sessions racing without streaming, just to get it back up. I seem to be doing much better when I'm not, chatting and reading chat and trying to keep up with everyone. It is a distraction, a great distraction, but it is a distraction. Hey Martin, how you doing, man? Good evening. Kevin, this is what I will explain the issues that I have today. I'll also explain what we're doing and how we're doing it. I was also talking to Jorg, the guy who designed and built the configurator, because the next version, if not 2.6.5, 2.6.6 will also include settings configurator for the Ascher wheels, not just the Ultimate, but all the Ascher wheels that have dials. And we're working on that now as well. So we want to put that into the configurator and just make sure that it's ready for anyone. I don't know when there's a sale. I don't know when these are going to go on sale or pre-sale or whatever. I have zero idea. And Martin, I don't know. It's a date in the future. And as far as I know, it's not going to be very far away, but I don't know the date. But when it does come, that date, I want to have everything ready in the dashboard. So that's my goal, and that's why we're trying to fix up the configurator and make sure that everything works. And there has been progress on that as well, and we'll talk about that sometime later in the stream tonight. But tonight it will be just chill chat and dev. I will explain what my problem is right now. But before that, tell me, how are you all doing? Is everyone fine? Health-wise, work-wise, mentally, is everyone fine? I mean, that's the most important thing, I think. Yeah. This is literally the moment where I'm stopping, taking a break from all day. I went from daytime job to the rig, working from 7 p.m. to 9:17 in the rig, and now, the moment I started the stream, I said, I will take a breather, enjoy it just a bit, maybe 10 minutes, just chat and see how you guys doing, and then go into work, because it is hectic. Hello, Nicola. Nicola, that is exactly what I'm I'm trying to fix and solve. I don't want to get into it now. I will show you guys what I'm doing, what has been done, what was done. That was done after months of work and research and trying to figure out how it's done. And I switched it out in a spur of the moment, and I thought, oh, this is better, and realized that it actually is way worse. And you experienced it as well. Christoph, how you doing, man? Good evening. Yes, Jason, I think we don't realize that. Like, I've not been in the sim world. I've been in the sim world for the past 4 years. It sounds odd. I just think it was yesterday that I started, but I too was I was hooked on because of the coronavirus. Actually, it's not because of the coronavirus. I've always been into racing and motorsports in general, but I never knew that I could have something like this at home. Honestly, never thought about this. And it was a random act where we were visiting some friends, and their kid, mind you, was 13 years old, had I think it was a G920 or G29. And the moment I saw it, I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I want to try that. It was on a PlayStation. I took it on for like maybe 5 minutes. Formula 1 game. It was honestly the worst experience. I couldn't drive the thing. But I realized that you can have this. Like, it's not like I was completely unaware of Sims. Obviously, the complete opposite. I knew, but I didn't know pricing wise. I didn't go into that, down that road in my mind. But that single 5-minute event led me to do some research. I realized, what options I have, starting low, see if I can walk into this thing. Not too high budget, It's kind of funny sitting in this rig right now saying that, but that was the intention. And it started. I think my first equipment arrived in May 2020. Yes, it was May 2020. A PlayStation and a Thrustmaster T300. And shortly after, like the next month, I got the play seat to put them all on. And then I started upgrading T300, and then I got the rig, then I got monitors, and then I got this, and this. It was just a process of ridiculous how fast that escalated. But here I am. And although I haven't been in a sim racing world, like I hear people saying I've been racing for 20 years. I haven't done that. I did my fair share of racing on a Commodore, on an Amiga, on my PC, my 286 PC. So I did all of that. But at some point I dropped off because it wasn't really a simulator back then. But now I'm just picking it up where I left off, and I will agree with Jason. It is one of the best times to be alive in general, but sim racing wise, everyone was predicting, well, not everyone, but a lot of people were predicting that it would just have been a fad, it would just die off after the coronavirus. Everyone would just go back to their normal lifestyles. But apparently it's not. Apparently it's here to stay. And I'm so happy that I've got involved in this way, like completely random act of designing something and building something and putting it out there for free has led me to this specific place where we are now and chatting. which I am forever grateful for. I don't think I'd ever want anything different. Like this, if you asked me, I would not believe that this would have been possible. So I'm extremely grateful for everything that's happening, for all your support, and all of this. Even the frustration that I'm going through, even this thing that I will talk to you about right now, even this frustration, I am grateful. I am happy I have this frustration. It is a great frustration. It is one of those pleasant ones. But, you know, I'll solve it. I'll solve this issue. With the help of Nicolas, maybe. And we'll see. We'll see. Wait a second. Yeah, I was driving at 12 a.m. and then I was like... Yeah, Nicola, when I drive like past 11, everything becomes blurry. Because I'm up since 6 a.m, so when I get to driving at 11 p.m, that's why I'm not going to continue doing the Warrior series, which I'm very sad. But the races started at 11:15 my time, ended 1:30 a.m. I would never be able to keep a straight line. Like, even if on a track that I know well, I couldn't be able to keep up. Like, last Thursday it was Suzuka. Like, I know that track with like the back of my hand. I just couldn't keep it on track. I was just too tired. The stream title sounds tempting. Oh, well. Haven't you ever seen it before? This is the 15th edition of the Chill Chat and Dev, which is just basically me coding, developing, asking questions, getting answers, and, you know, chilling, basically. Nicola says, and Ascher is releasing news about the McLaren rim with a screen on Saturday. Well, first off, this McLaren rim, and Martin Ascher is in the chat as well. So, if anything, if Martin, if you're announcing something on Saturday and people know, I didn't know that, honestly, Nicola, but Martin is in the chat. Christoph, it's basically, it is a huge room. I think it's 50 square meters. It is the attic. It's not an attic as you would expect. It's actually a full room. But basically it's just a living room with a huge, like a 55-inch TV back there, and on one end it's the rig, and then we put some, like, you know, shelves and stuff like that. So it's basically a room where no one goes, just myself. I mean, yeah, I mean, this is my man attic. Man attic. Doesn't sound good. I prefer man cave. But it is an attic, so it's not a cave. C64 was my first. No, I didn't start with the C64, brother. I was on the Commodore VIC-20. Commodore VIC-20 was the first one. Then we got the Commodore 64, and then we had like the Atari 128. What was that? With the little wooden panels for gaming. I kind of skipped a whole generation. Like the first portable I had was the Game Boy, the black and white, the original, and then I kind of skipped everything else beyond that. So I didn't have a Genesis or Game Gear or like the Nintendo Game Boy Color. I didn't have any of that. I just skipped everything. Different times, I guess. Just didn't find them appealing. And the only game I really played on the Game Boy was tennis. I was champion like every time. Like, I just loved that game. Nothing else. I didn't actually. And Bubble Bobble. 2 games, my favorite games. Jason, you're a Forza and Gran Turismo guy back before the rig. Yeah, I never had a PlayStation. The first time I got a PlayStation was in May 2020, when I wanted to do the sim racing stuff. Before that, never had I had a PlayStation. I had Commodore VIC-20, 64, and I was programming BASIC. You know, the little jumping jack guy. That's the stuff that I was doing. But you know, in between that, obviously, I had many PCs, and then I switched to Mac in 2008, I think. And ever since, I've never gone back. And now for sim racing, I got PCs, which is ridiculous because I not hate PCs. It's just that I got used to the Macs, and here I am. And yeah, I must say it's like the last actual Windows system that I owned before this one now was Windows 98. Anyone in the chat, tell me that Windows 98 wasn't probably the best OS Windows had. Apart from the latest generations. Like now, Windows 11, it's perfectly fine. And 10. But oh my god, what was it? Windows Vista? I never had that on my... I didn't have a computer. Like, I didn't have a PC back when Vista came out. But I remember, like, seeing and trying to use it was just, you know... It was one of the reasons I never went to Windows after that. But despite that, I mean, for work, I only have a Mac. For work. And that it's not even a desktop. It's just a laptop. It works friggin' awesome. So no problem with an external monitor and everything. But the rig is... And for the rig, I actually have 2 PCs. Which is ridiculous because this isn't work, but the rig costs more than my workstation. 2 PCs, streaming PC and a gaming PC. You know, I'm crazy. I know, I am. My wife thinks. Kevin says, build a powerful PC for photograph editing and turn it on to a great PC for sim racing flying. And a rabbit hole is getting deeper. It's not even it's a black hole, man. It's not a rabbit hole. Rabbit holes you explore. Black holes suck you in. That's what sim racing is. It just sucks you in. It's like it's not your fault anymore. After a certain point, it's just like I can't do anything. It's sucking me in. I cannot do anything. Martin, you got your first wheel early 2000, but only got serious in racing in 2013. Yeah, still a lot earlier than I did. Don't know what was back then. Like iRacing was back then, I'm assuming. And Martin, I know Martin, you love iRacing. Martin, do you know that there are other games too? Except, you know, apart from iRacing? I'm not sure you know that. Maybe you should try some other games as well. You got sucked into iRacing in 2013, that's it. Never stepped out of that one, have you? Nicolas says that he started in 2018, 2019 with F1 and then hated F1 and moved to AC and then iRacing. It's a logical move, I think. It makes sense because from F1 you got AC that had F1 and then AC was, I guess, inexpensive and easy access, and then you go to iRacing, which completely sucks you in as well. Game Boy Advance, I did not. That's your first gaming thing? Oh shit. Game Boy Advanced. Oh my god. I was old back then. Oh dear. So Martin says, Nicola says that Martin announced that you're going to say something on Saturday. I can't wait for that news then. Super NES first console, Jason. Come on, man. Kirby's Dream Pinball, Christoph. Windows 3.1. Yes, 3.1 was pretty awesome, but Windows 98 was you know, it was great. Spectrum Boy, James Lovell. I had a compact Presario. So funny story, I had a compact Presario, which is a beautiful laptop. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I never threw it out. I always kept it. It was my first ever laptop. Up until then, I had like, you know, big beige boxes, PCs. And I always kept it. And I think it's a few years ago, I still had it. It was a laptop from like 2019, sorry, not 2019. It was like 2001. Yeah, it's in 2000s. I got that compact Presario. And I never threw it out. I kept it. And a few years ago, a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, started creating like a PC museum. So he was collecting any old PC he could find. He was restoring it, making it work, installing, you know, all the original drivers and just putting them on display. And he's putting this in his house, but eventually he wants to move these out into some space where people can actually look at them. And I donated that laptop. I donated it. It was in mint condition. And I donated it. He was like, you know, when he got it, he sent me pictures. He cleaned it all up, details. He repainted a few, you know, scuffs and marks. And he's gonna put it. He has it in his, you know, museum or space where he has all these old stuff, which is it's pretty cool. Well, we all remember Spectrum. I was just never in the Spectrum, James. I was Commodore VIC-20 and then Commodore 64. And the VIC-20, I also had the tape drive. Now this is a not discussion that we can have, but a tape drive was, instead of a hard drive or a disk drive, which you may know because, you know, the little save icon, it's a disk. A tape drive was a cassette instead of a disc. Now, the problem that I have now is a lot of people in this chat have never used the cassette. So they never use a disc, but they know the disc drive because of the save icon. The Commodore VIC-20 had a tape drive, which is basically a cassette. You'd pop it in, you'd have to fast forward or rewind to get to the game. Oh man, oh what a life! What have we lived? This is the best moment in the history of computing, guys. You have to understand this. You have to understand this. It is like you have no idea. You have no idea. You have no idea. VIC-20 with a tape drive. I was a small kid back then, okay? I'm not saying like I was old or anything. Like, I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, but I remember it. Tape drive. Enough said. That's it. Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, Mark. So, wait, Mark, what are you an iRacing fan and switching to ACC now? Or how's it going for you? I'm having issues with my chat. It is delaying a lot. Let me just pull it up on the side here. On the browser, because it's delaying a lot in that window there. Yeah, I think Nicola, that's what I was talking about. So AC was an easy way to get into sim racing. You wouldn't need a credit card for every single thing you did. It was easy to get into. So I'm reading the chat now because the one in OBS is just slow, I guess. Kevin Lewis says his attic is full of dusty old systems. Imagine them turning into life, you know? Cassette player on the Amstrad 464. Damn. Well, Nicola, you were listening to music on cassette tapes. Have you ever gamed or programmed on cassette tapes? That, Kevin, that is exactly the part that young kids don't know, like the connection between a pencil or a Bic pen and a cassette. They look at it and they're trying to figure out how to, like, what it's, no, you put the cassette on the pen and just spin it around, like, and rewind it. They don't. Jamie, welcome to the stream, man. They don't know the meaning of rewind. They don't. It is ridiculous. Christoph, you had backups of tapes, but those are tapes, backup tapes, right? I think that's not something that it has died out, but I don't think it is completely died out. Like, I still think that for serious backing up, tapes are still being used in some facilities. I think. I'm not entirely sure. Jamie, you had to tune the head reader on video cassettes, where you had to do the tracking. Oh man, I remember putting in a favorite movie, Spaceballs, popping it into the VCR, hitting play, and just getting all that static all over the place, and you have to use the tracking to move it. Oh my god. How could you rewind? Did you know, Nicola, there was because rewinding cassettes or videotapes in the VCR was not healthy for the tape. They could get damaged. You know, the tape could either rip or anything. There were specific machines, separate machines you can buy to rewind video cassettes. I don't know if you knew that. I didn't own one. Never owned one of those. I didn't really care. But there were friends that had it. So they would take out the cassette from the video, the VCR, and put it in another machine that it would rewind it. It would basically rewind it really fast, and when it was getting to the end, it would slow down so it wouldn't damage the tape inside. I didn't know. I saw that. It was kind of weird as well. Sinclair. Well, floppy drive is floppy 5-inch or 3.5-inch, Nicola. 5-inch or 3.5, because 5 inches is we're the worst. Was that 1.2 megabytes? No, maybe not even. I think I think they were the 3.5-inch were like 1.2 megabytes. Mark, is this? You're scared? Maybe it'll explode. Yeah, you never know. Yeah, James, Blockbuster was one. I think Blockbuster, a lot of people remember Blockbuster as well. It wasn't too old, too many years ago that it died out. Yeah, VHS, it was, yeah, of course. They had, contrary to VHS, Betamax died. It was more professional and better, but it never caught on. It was more expensive, I think, the licensing. It was Philips, I think, it was licensing it, and it kind of died out. Like mini disc from Philips. Floppy 8-inch? I have no idea what you're talking about, James. I'm sorry. I know there's the 3.5-inch. 3.5, which was the small one, and the 5-inch, but 8-inch. Yes, Christoph. See, I told you. Tape backups are actually very serious, even though they have a long term. They last longer, I think. I don't know if it's better or not. I just think they still use it. I don't own any floppy disks. Actually, I still have. Do you guys know remember the iOmega? What was it called? That backup drive from iOmega, which is 100 megabytes. I still have those tapes. I don't have a reader, but I have, not tapes, I still have the discs, which were like, 100 megabytes each disc, which was 100 megabytes. When a 3.5-inch disc had 1.2 megabytes. That was pretty massive. Kevin, I know Betamax was better, but I think it was licensed from Philips, so it never caught on. It died fairly quick. Do you guys remember the 8-track? Or have ever heard of the 8-track? Audio system, which was like these big square cassettes. You would put it in your car and listen to music. And the good thing, so 8-track, the good thing with 8-track, it was like a cassette, but you can actually skip directly to the next song, because it was the head would just move up and down. So you can go directly to a different spot immediately. It still needed to rewind and do some stuff, but it was a lot faster than having a cassette. But again, those were very clunky, to be honest. Omega, James, Omega zip drives. That's it. That is the Omega zip drive. I have like 4 or 5 downstairs in my office with backups from work when I was 18 years old. From 18 to 23 maybe. Like everything that I did from in Corel Draw and all that kind of stuff. My God. I think I digitized those at some point. And when I say digitize, I mean I moved them to my hard drive, to my backup. I'm too scared of losing data, so I have a weird backup system at home. I have 3 drives that are mirrored. Like, I think they're like 4 or 6 terabytes each, and they're mirrored, so at any point in time, all 3 drives carry the same exact data, and all those are in a RAID mirror. So they're all identical, and the exact same information is also backed up into the cloud at any point in time. So, yeah, I back up everything. I think I moved all of that work that I have in the zip drives into my main backup and to the cloud. All right, let's start looking at what the problem I have is, and I need you all to understand the problem and why it's done the way it has been done, and understand where the problem lies. So first off, let me show you the problem. Let me switch over to this screen. Let me turn off the overlay. We don't need it. We don't need the wheel cam either. Everything shall stay. Let me hit OK here. And I won't won't close this. Let me just bring in this thing over here. So this is a recording. This is basically from hold on a second. All right, let me just explain what's going on, and we can pick up chat as well. So the problem that exists in the current dashboard is the estimated lap time and delta. Okay, so these are two videos. I put them specifically in here so I can show you guys. I need you to understand what the problem is and understand why I'm bashing my head against the wall and not my monitors, because I do not want to break them. Just so you understand, because this is like a recurring issue, and like if it's not one person repeating it, it's multiple people repeating the same thing, and I just want you guys to understand why this is a problem. All right, so this is an ACC. This is the Nordschleife. This is the 24-hour Nordschleife, which I ran two stints on Sunday morning. So the first stint it was a wet stint. Do not mind the driving. It was terrible. I was in the Bentley, a Nordschleife, full wet. So it was something I was very uncomfortable with. But the thing is, if you notice here, if you can see, it doesn't matter if you can actually see it or not. To be honest, I can zoom in just a bit, but it doesn't really matter what. You'll see that it says 820, 890, which is my predicted lap, and 820, 890, my best lap. This isn't my best lap. I've never done an 820. On Nordschleife with the Bentley, I was at 846, 848. In the wet, I was around 10 minutes. Okay, but that is relevant. Now, if I hit play, you'll see that this never changes. And the gap is 0. I don't know if you guys can see it. Doesn't really matter, I'm telling you now. It's actually 0, the delta. This never changes. Never changes. It is identical to the best lap. This is the best lap that another teammate had performed within the car. Okay, this is not my lap. This is the best lap this car had achieved. And I stepped into this car, and this doesn't change. It's freaking out. Essentially, ACC is not sending the delta for me because I haven't set for this session a best lap. Okay, this is important to understand. I haven't set a best lap for this session, not my best lap, but a better lap than 820, 890. So unless I break that 820, 890, ACC will not send the delta. It's 820, 890. That's it. It's kind of stuck in that place. And I confirmed this with Nicolas. I was discussing it with Nicolas, and he said, if ACC doesn't send it, that's what it is. So this specific thing over here you're seeing, this is the session best based estimated lap. So this is trying to estimate your lap based on the session best lap, which is 820, 890. Now, if this is making sense so far, please shake your heads, I'll see you. So what this is trying to do is trying to estimate your current lap based on the session best, 820, 890, which isn't my time. So ACC is kind of confusing itself. It's shitting its pants, right? So you'll see now, I'm going to cross the line, nothing is going to change. Crossing the line still just shows me 1102 is my previous lap. Everything's fine. It cannot 951 was my previous lap, as you can see, 0.475, it changed. It cannot estimate the lap you're doing because I have not set the best lap. Even if I set a good lap for me, it still won't do it. Okay? This is how it was my first session in the wet. I got out of the car, and one stint was driven by Mr. Git, and during his stint, I obviously opened up SimHub and started tinkering with it. And I changed this value and the delta to use not the session best estimate, but the all-time best estimated. So now, in this second video that I'll show you, this is my second stint in the dry, which I'm actually a lot better now, where it's estimating my lap time based on my personal all-time best lap. So this is where the problem begins. So the previous one, and I'll show you, I'll explain exactly what the problem is in both of these scenarios. So now look at this one. It's an estimating a 10-minute, this is my outlap, right? So it's estimating a 10-minute 27,135. Okay, this is actually working now, and the delta. But there's a catch here. So as I'm running, you'll see that the lap time, the previous lap time, 27.092. Perfect. It actually predicted my current lap time perfectly. And now it's showing me 8:46, which is my current estimated lap time for this lap, which is great. This works great. And you can see it's going up and down. It's moving now, so now it's estimating it. It's estimating my lap time based on my all-time best. Not something that ACC is telling me. This is coming from SimHub. The problem here, and this is where everything starts, is that although I do get my estimated lap time for this lap off of my best lap ever that I've done on this track, the delta says 126 seconds slower. The delta is actually calculating the lap time delta based on my best lap time, not the track, not the session. On my previous, right now I don't know exactly how it's doing that specific one. So it's actually, so this should have been, for instance, if we were to completely take this into account, it should have been 26 seconds slower than the 820, 890. It's not, it's 126. It's a lot slower than what I've done, or whatever that means. I don't know, it's coming out with a number. And that's where that's the problem. So the estimated lap is okay, but I have no way to get the delta. And the delta will always be wrong. Whereas in the previous version, it's just blank, it doesn't do anything. Both of these methods, using the estimated based on your session best, and getting the estimate based on your all-time best, have extreme flaws. These flaws only exist, and here's the thing, they only exist when you're driving with more than one driver. So, currently the dashboard has this method here, the first one, where it predicts your lap time based on the session best. And this works perfectly if it's just one driver. If you're the only driver in the car, it's perfect, because you're driving and your session best is there, and it just predicts it. Now, going into a multi-driver race, then things get screwed up in this version with using this math, these lap times. In a second version here, I will never, ever be able to give you a proper delta, because I will always compare it to your all-time best. So this way, it's completely wrong for me. So it will give you an correct estimated lap time, but the delta will be off of your all-time best. So if you're going into a session with rain, and you're doing 9 minutes in the Nordschleife, and your all-time best is 8:30, for instance, like what I would do, it would give you a delta to your 8:30. Not to the one you'd be racing in the rain. And that's useless. Like, I don't want to see what my delta is to my all-time best when I'm racing in the rain, in the dark, in extreme heat. It's different conditions. I want to see the delta to my current session best. Session best is the right way to do it, but session best doesn't take into account your session best. It takes into account the car's session best. At that point, when you jump into the car and start driving, it will never show you an estimated lap time until you get the session best. It's completely flawed. Spoke to Nicolas about this, and he basically told me it's what we get. It's what the game is giving us. So I think the problem is the best solution is to keep what we had. This one. This works great when it's a single driver. In all cases, shows you your lap times and everything. But when you jump into a multi-driver event, then it's flawed. I think ACC never sends the gap, the delta, or anything, because I think the delta is what's being used by SimHub to get your estimate and get your deltas and everything. I think ACC is not sending that, but I will continue investigating it. But this is the problem. This is why I'm trying to fix it, and I can't. And during these 2 sessions, in between these 2 sessions, I switched over the code, and I was using this. I'm like, oh shit, this works. This is great. And then I realized I'm doing an estimated of 846, 645, and the best was 820, which means it's 26 seconds. This should say plus 26. Why is it plus 126? What is this? Where is this coming from? I don't know. And there's no way for me to give you that delta unless I do some math or weird stuff, and it's not going to be pretty. So I'm trying to figure that one out. Kieran, yes, it is. It's a minefield. Honestly, it's a minefield. Anywhere I go, I step on shit. It's maybe not a minefield, maybe it's just shit. I don't know. Yeah, I was happy to do this. I'm actually asked Nikolai if there's a way for us to determine if it's a multi-driver race or not. He hasn't gotten back to me. I think he hates me. I mean, that guy is just... Yeah, he's... I can't imagine why he keeps on talking to me. I always come back to him with problems. So for now, I have released one beta. I released one beta for the love of the members that has this. But this I'm going to revert it, because it works in like 80% of the cases. I understand that there are endurance races and people are jumping in and out of cars. I need more data to look into this. I was stupid enough not to record telemetry for my sessions on a Nordschleife. I didn't hit the button. I didn't record it. Jason, thank you for understanding this now. The problem is there's no one way to do it, and there's no given way. Like I was looking at iRacing now. This is now the data that I'm looking at my dashboard now in front of me. I'm running an iRacing session, and that's even worse there. Like data's even worse there. It's like it shows me a predicted lap time of 93 seconds for Daytona. Doesn't even exist. I don't even know when it's going to give me data. It's even worse in iRacing, basically. So I need to rely on the data that SimHub sends, because it's doing the best job in collecting data and transmitting it to the dashboard. Unfortunately, SimHub relies on the data that's coming from the game, and this is a problem. So it's either I continue using it the way I did, and let me just show you the code. It doesn't matter if you understand or not. I will show it to you. So this is what's going on. This is the function that I'm using, which says get estimated lap time. And I do a quick check to see if you have a session best. Okay, so if you have set a session best lap time, then the game will return. Basically, yeah, the game ACC will return your estimated lap time. Okay, so it says if there is a session best lap time, then get this and show it. So it shows you your estimated lap time based on your session best. If this doesn't exist, it goes on and asks, is there an all-time best? All-time best comes from SimHub. So SimHub records and stores your all-time best for car, driver, and track. So if you don't have a session best, show me the all-time best. And then SimHub also calculates the all-time best lap for the combination of driver, car, and track, and sends that estimated lap time. And if you've never driven on this track before at all, or anything, I just show you your current lap time. So, you know, it's just ascending, basically, just counting up your lap time. And that's what you see on the dashboard. What I did for the Nordschleife, in between the stints, I switched over from session best to all-time best. So in any case, either you had a session best or an all-time best, it would always show you the estimated lap time based on your all-time best. Now again, the all-time best estimated lap is coming from SimHub. SimHub doesn't know what your session best is. It doesn't know what your other drivers have done when it's a multi-driver event. It just knows what you as a driver has done in this car on this track, and just gives you an estimate based on that. The estimate is correct though. The estimate works great. But once you try and use this to figure out your delta, everything is screwed. I can't get the delta unless you actually get a session best. It won't work in any case. The delta won't be right in either of the two cases. So yeah, I'm trying to fix that and I can't. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove everything and leave it as it were, which means that if you're doing a multi-driver event, you will have the wrong data. I would love it if we can reset this somehow, but as Nicolas stated, it's not about resetting anything. It's what the game sends us. So the game is sending us the delta, and with that delta, we use that and show you the estimated lap time. So I don't know how. I don't know. Nicolas in one of his last messages said, what did he tell me? He will try and separate it and give me these values separately. So what the game sends as a delta and what we have as a best lap, and maybe I can do some math in here. But again, it may not be pretty. So this is something that I will be working on. Not on stream because it's going to... yeah, it's not going to be pretty. No, Christoph, you don't want to do that. Even if you do the last lap, you'd have to save the last lap and replace it. Yeah, I mean, you probably want to do something like that, but even if you had the last lap, the delta is coming from the game. And even if I had, like, I do have my last lap, right? So my last lap is in this, what you see here is 10:27. If I switch over here, it's 1:40. This is a night racing session. Or it's not even mine, I think it's Martin's. It was in Daytona, I think this is Martin's. So the lap time is 1:40.748. Even if I do that, even if I store it and I only keep the best version of it and I have my best last lap time ever, how do I figure out the delta? I can't. I'm running a lap time. I can't estimate it myself. The estimate is coming from the game. And the game is going to send me something that's wrong. All I know in this case would be my best ever lap on this track. I wouldn't know if it's invalid or not. It would just give me the best lap, which again is not right, because that needs to be taken into account. And I would know my current lap time. So getting an estimate would be practically impossible. I would need the game to send me the delta, and I would use the delta against my best lap, whatever. But again, the delta may not be the correct delta because I'm getting that locally. Anyway, it's getting out of it's too much work to fix a flaw in the game. And if Nicolas figures out how to do this, and maybe the game actually delivers it, it'll work. For ACC, for instance, when you're running it, when it works like it used to, the way I had it, if you do an invalid lap, it will continue showing you the estimate. It will be red. It will show it in red. It will get you the estimate, and when you cross the line, it will never show it as a best lap. It won't take into account because the game is telling us there is no best lap yet. It was invalid. So during qualifying, it will never show you. It will be 0 there, which is correct, which is exactly what needs to be done. If I do this manually, then I won't be able to do that. It'll be too much. Yeah, it'll be too complicated. Christoph, it's not ACC. iRacing is even worse. iRacing is even worse in that sense. Like I try to look at the data, and it's like I don't even have an estimate. SimHub is estimating everything and giving it to me. So yeah, guys, can you do me a favor? Can you honestly do me a favor here? Is anyone going? I've already asked this, but I don't even know if I have them anywhere. But is anyone going to take part into a multi-driver event between now and next week? Even if it's a really short event, we're swapping drivers. If you are, try and save the entire thing for me. If it's like a 6-hour race, obviously you can't save it. But if it's like maybe a 90-minute race with a swap, which is kind of odd, or if you can hold a race with your friends and do like a 30-minute race where you swap 3 drivers 10 minutes each, just so you can see how it works, and send me that data, I can use that. Maybe there's something hidden in there. Maybe there's something hidden from one driver to the other. I don't know. Nicola told me there's nothing much we can do about this. But maybe there is. Maybe there is. There's not much I can do. So what I'm doing here, I was like before the stream even started, I was just outputting a few things. This is what you would want to see. So let's say I'm just getting a bunch of data here. So my all-time best currently, this is for an iRacing session, is 138.70, which is also on my dashboard. Fine. The estimated all-time best is 141. Well, the estimated time based on your all-time best is 141 currently. So this is one thing, all the all-time best information here. And then I'm collecting information for your session best. And it says, I can actually move, I won't do it. So your best lap is 138.70. And it's estimating you're going to do, it's using an estimating algorithm based on your best lap current session, and says you're going to do 139.103 based on that. Your session best and your session best delta. You can see these numbers are actually pretty correct. Actually, they're perfect, right? But again, this is using the session best. And if you can see, it's your session best is 138.70. And the delta, current delta, is plus 403. So if you add 403, you get 139.103. There it is. It's actually perfect. So again, even in iRacing, using the session best works perfectly. I don't know what happens in iRacing with a driver swap. Does iRacing continue delivering proper information? If not, it's going to do the same thing. Yeah. So there's not much I can do about this right now. Let me delete that layer. It's fine. So I'm reverting back to what I had. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do. So I'm going to leave this. I'm going to leave this commented out. It's fine. I'm going to leave it commented out. So if there is a session best lap time and estimated, I will show you that. If you have an all-time best, I will show you that. Otherwise, I'll just show you the current lap time. Keeping it simple there. SPA in iRacing, if it worked correctly, it's what I had. So the problem will lie only within with ACC. Maybe I can figure it out. Like, I don't have much information here. That's my problem. I don't have too much information. Not much. I don't have any information. But the latest beta didn't fix just that. The latest beta that I had there was two things basically. The latest beta fixed. It didn't fix it. I reverted it because it was a regression. It just made things worse. But it did the estimated lap time, but it also updated the track components. So now, if I go to POV and switch to my DDU, sorry, let me zoom in a bit. Good. So you'll see that now track components actually work really well. Let me turn this on. It's a replay of an old race or practice session. Oh, it's a race. These are actually far closer to the real thing. They work better. So this I'm keeping. So this thing I'm keeping. What still doesn't work really well is the class opponents. So the class opponents update every sector so far. And the values, although I've not seen a problem, for some reason many drivers have reported issues. I'm not entirely sure. It needs investigating, to be honest, so not really sure how to fix that yet. But I did find a UI bug and I will go in and fix it right now. Sorry, it's this little thing over here. It's rounded corners and it shouldn't have rounded corners there. Class opponents, driver ahead, position, border style. Yeah, you're not supposed to have anything there, buddy. Alright. Gone. And driver behind position, you're not supposed to have anything here. It doesn't. Okay, so that one's fixed. So now when I save it, you'll see that little thing over there. The rounded corners will be gone. There it is. It's fixed now. Now it's good. Yeah, this in any replay that I have from iRacing works fine. So let me try Sebring. I think Martin, this is things you had sent me. I think this is something. Lap times track opponents class. Oh, this is just a practice session. So when it's a practice session, it doesn't show you track opponents or class opponents because there's no one on track. Let me see. Was it Sebring? But this. Oh yeah, this is the one. So I need to figure this out. I'm pretty sure there's some errors here. What class? Let's go see. Let me see something. Track opponents. Yeah, this works great. It shows you the guy ahead, which is that guy. It's Coveney. He's in the GTP, and obviously he's gonna get overtaken or not. Behind us, there's an LMP2, and both of these drivers are actually ahead of us. They're orange, which means orange color means that we're the back markers essentially. And you also get the license and everything. Let me zoom in so you guys possibly can see it a bit better. So this seems to be working well. And just by looking at the replay as well, the values are actually pretty consistent as well. So I'm not too fussed about, you know, the data inside track opponents. But the class opponents is a different story. Class opponents show you where. So this is actually this isn't a problem. It's just the way the values are shown. So P7 is 4 laps behind us. As you can see now, P7 is minus 4 laps. That's why there's 440 seconds. Ideally, I wouldn't show 440, I would show 4 laps. I think you'd agree on that as well. Like, what else would I show on any other way? All right. Behind gap, and I'm pretty sure I was using gap class opponent behind. Where is it? I put everything in functions because it's easier just to fix later on. Get sectors, track data, track name. Where is it? I don't even know. I can search, but I'm too fast. Yeah, here it is. Get gap class opponent ahead and get class opponent behind. So what we're doing here to get the class opponent gap is kind of, you know, a bit of an alchemy here. But at the end of the day, we're using driver gap to player. And now I'm pretty sure there's a function. There is a function. Driver gap to player. Driver gap to player. Driver relative gap to player. Driver relative gap to player combined. So if I get that, hit OK, and basically for the guy behind, let me pause the replay and use this driver relative gap to player behind. So the combined aspect, which you can't see now because I'm not showing you, I need to go to wide, I need to go to coding, fine. So the combined aspect here that I just added supposedly shows us laps as well. So if I hit save and I hit save here and switch back to the POV, it doesn't. It doesn't show me laps. I don't know why. I don't know when it would show it. It's just returning 446 again. Which is, maybe if I remove the format stuff. Maybe that was it. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. No, it's not it. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. This widget, the class opponent, does its best. So this, I don't know exactly. This is relative. Relative is not right. Relative shows you. Maybe you prefer this. Would you prefer this? Because this is something we can actually just leave this in here. So you can see now. In let's go here. All right. So you can see now. This was the 446 seconds. It basically added up all the laps and said he's 446 seconds behind you. We can use this, which is the relative. This tells you that P7 is 29 seconds on track behind you, or it could have been ahead of you. It doesn't really matter. But it also shows you that he's -4 laps, though. Could this be more interesting? Otherwise, we just keep the other one, which is not the, it's just the driver gap to player. Let me show you what that looks like. When I refresh, driver gap to player, and just shows you the entire distance and the laps. Crafty aliens, I prefer to see a relative and plus-minus gap. Okay, so what you're saying is you'd rather see this. Let me do this with the guy ahead as well. So seeing the relative gap and also have the laps. So now the guy ahead of me is 40 seconds ahead and 1 lap ahead. And you'll notice if I hit the play, once I cross the line, it'll say 0 again to the guy ahead of me. So it's showing me on track. P5 is 40 ahead. And P7 is 29 behind me on track. That's the relative. It also shows that the guy behind me is 4 laps behind. Let me hit play. And let me see. I'm about to cross the line, I think, here. You just keep an eye on the +1 here. It's going to cross the line now. So once I cross the start-finish line, it should go to 0. There it is. Because now I'm on the same lap with the guy ahead of me. The distance hasn't changed. It's still 41 seconds, but now we're on the same lap. And the guy's -5 now, because he hasn't crossed the start-finish line. Once he crosses it, it will show -4 laps. Crafty, no, I wouldn't add it as a option. This is something very basic. It's a functional thing. I think this is something that someone has already asked anyway, and I think this actually works better. I just need your input and letting me know if this is something that we can keep like this. Just agreeing on it, because I don't do iRacing and I don't do multi-class much at all, I guess. So it's mostly what you guys would prefer. I don't do any of this, so I don't know. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, 4 laps plus, yeah. Well, I wanted to see something. Wait a second. Oh, okay, so this is something I want to work on though. So track opponents is correct. It shows me minus. The guy ahead of me is minus, and the guy behind me is plus. Whereas here, everything is plus. I need to change this. I need to change it to the guy ahead of me is minus, and the guy behind me is plus. As you can see, this is a bit of an issue here. So it says plus, and it shows plus here. Right there, plus for the laps, and the guy behind me is plus and -5 laps. So I need to basically make this a bit more consistent. So I need to change the how I write this. So the guy ahead is minus, the guy behind is plus. So for these gaps, I should always have for the guy behind me. Hold on, let me do this. False there. And false. So for the person ahead of me, I'm just gonna hard code this. It should always be minus the guy ahead of me, and the guy behind me, laps, this is for the laps, would always be plus. Okay, so now if I save this and reload it, it should be for the laps. This is for the laps. So the laps will be plus and minus. Minus the guy ahead and plus. Oh shit, it's deliver. Oh man. Get player driver current lap. I need to do some more magic here, and I don't think it's worth it then. Like, I need to weigh in what's worth doing or not. So if I do this, what was the issue with the laps now? Plus and minus laps were good or not? So the guy ahead is plus laps, minus laps. We need to have it the other way around, right? So the actual gap in the class opponent is coming from here. So what I need to do... I don't know if this is delivering a string or not. What is this returning? Let me test a bit. And let's just say for whoever that is, 5. I don't really care. So if I do here, math, abs, clear it. Okay, so I can clear it at that level. So I could do that. Alright, so let me do it here. Let me try it out. Math, abs, just get the absolute number. And for the guy behind as well. And here we want to have minus the guy ahead and plus for the gap behind. Let's see if it works now. Disregard the text that it will say here. Plus, why is it giving the plus? Oh man. Format number, maybe? I'm too bored to go see it right now. Just do it and see what it looks like. I have a function that shortens numbers in time. Alright, that'll do. Because it's into shorting the number. It's not shorting the time, it's just a number now. It's delivering a number. So we can use it. Let me just check something. 42, 32. 42, 32, okay. Alright, so we got that one done. Disregard the little text here, it's not going to stay there. So now the gaps, so the guy ahead is 42 plus 0, and the guy behind me is 32 plus 5 laps. But I need to change the sign on the laps. Is that correct, everyone? Should I, like right now you can see it's plus, and it's minus to the guy behind me. We always want to have the guy ahead is minus. Well, would that make sense for the laps? Does it make sense for the laps? Maybe it's minus 42 plus 0 laps, plus 32 plus 5 laps. Would that make more sense? Let me know. I'm trying to understand, like, looking at it, what makes sense. I'm also going to change the UI a bit just now. I want to make it a bit more prominent. What makes more sense? I'm at a Red Bull. I'm at a Red Bull. Yeah, my brain wants to say plus laps too. My brain wants to say plus laps. So whatever time, minus 42 seconds because they're ahead, plus 0 laps or plus 3 laps. Like it says plus 3 laps. Because whatever the gap I have, plus 3 laps. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think, because I'm not entirely sure. What did I just do? I'm not entirely sure. So I'm using the format. My current lap, opponent and leader, wherever he is, minus my current lap. And it returns that. But if I say false, I don't want you to give me the sign. Why are you returning the sign? For negative, it's negative, but for plus, it's not showing anything. That is odd. That is odd. Because it's negative, but it shouldn't be returning anything. But how about the... Oh, okay, so you want... Yeah, but you see now, Crafty. You see now, Crafty, we're getting into weird territory. Let me open up the dashboard in a windowed version so you guys have it as well. I'll put it down here where you guys can see it. And I will also delete this layer because we don't want it, and save. It should restart. And now take a look here. So track opponents, the gaps are minus to the guy ahead and plus the guy behind. This is, I think, de facto. Like, it's something that we've seen everywhere. This is how it works. And we go to class opponents. You got negative for the guy ahead and plus the guy behind. But laps, what do we do there? What are you going to say? Plus 3 laps and minus 5 laps? Like, have negative here and plus here and negative there? I mean, does that make sense? Please, Martin, Crafty, Nicola, anyone in the chat, let me know. Like, what is it? Like, what do you guys think this is? Would this make sense? Having the guy ahead having a negative gap number and a positive lap number, and the guy behind has a positive gap and a negative lap number. Plus, 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 plus. Okay. How the hell am I going to do that? Let's see if I can do it. All right. So the reason it's getting, although I'm putting a false here for format. Oh shit, Martin, you're saying the other way around. So maintaining negative on both values, which I think would be more consistent. So having a negative gap and a negative lap value, and the guy behind me has a positive gap and positive lap value. No? No? I think I was just... Ahead has negative lap number. That's what I just said. and the guy behind me has a positive lap number. Exactly how the gaps work. Oh, so both of them are plus. So the guy ahead and the guy behind, negative gap plus laps. The guy behind, positive gap plus laps. Plus plus. Okay. So plus everywhere. So this is, it won't be, it's not about being easy. But let me do something for the second one. Math abs. Let me see if I can just get an absolute number. I don't think so, because it's actually formatted that way. So I'm gonna have to basically change the formatting. 9, of course, because now I need to say that and save, because I need it to export the actual number. Get rid of these because I don't want them anymore. Doesn't make sense. And now I want to have plus and I want to put lap. But now, because I'm doing it like this, I can actually just do laps. Well, we got to figure this out. I just completely destroyed everything. What'd I do? Oh, okay, wait. Of course. Okay, so you guys see this thing over here? You see this thing? Sometimes I get people in my Discord saying, oh, it's not working. It's because something is crashing. JavaScript is crashing. Yeah, I made a mistake, obviously. It'll fix now. But usually this is caused when you guys have a mistake in the settings file or something. One question for this. You guys wanted to say laps or L? Martin, there is no right and wrong. There is something called consistency. I would prefer L2. It's just too long. Okay, let's do this. Now we'll see what it looks like. All right, guys. Now see it and let me know what it looks like. In my design, before you see this, look at my design up here. So in here I said minus plus laps plus gap minus laps. So I had it like that. But look what it would. Look at this. Does this make more sense? Just let me know off the top of your head. Like when you look at it, does it make more sense, or would it make more sense having a plus plus? Whatever. This is it. Now or never. I also want to do one thing here, because I'm... Okay. So what I want to do is laps. Alright, title, let me know if this will also work better, because I understand it might be an issue. Let me do it first and I'll show you. Just by looking at it now, does this seem better? It's white. The laps are white. They're not gray. I just don't know if it's clear enough. I am thinking, what if I did this. Head times gap on top is 55.5 for whatever reason. Head gap, let's do this. Just for the lulz. Just for the lulz. Something like this. You guys keep on looking at the dashboard down here. Man, I don't like it. There's a problem. When I look at it, there's a problem visually. Hey, Brazil. Bom dia. Alright, so having it gray. Okay, I'll revert it to gray. It's a UI label token. Label. Okay. So now, grayed out. And you're also saying if it's 0, not showing it, right? Bless me. Current lap is, what do you mean current lap? The 265? This thing over here? I want to change that. That's one of the things I wanted to change as well. So it makes sense to keep it here, 265, because for whatever reason, lap 1 up here. Maybe it's because of stint lap here. I don't know. It's whatever is coming from SimHub. What I wanted to do though is, let me know. I'm gonna make one change here. Yeah. Let me do something. This might be a bit better, to be honest. Visually. Information architecture wise, the way it will be laid out. Let me see it really quick without measuring any distances. Just by looking at this, I think this would also make a bit more sense. So minus 40t, minus 0 laps, 265 plus 5 laps, and that. Of course, I need to tweak the distances. What do you think? I think it looks pretty good now. It just gathers the information in one spot. It's easy to see the gaps, but now you also see like you're 265 laps in. The guy ahead is 0, and the guy behind is 270, obviously, because it's plus 5. Martin, what do you think? Everyone seems to agree with this one. And it's also consistent now with the minus and the pluses and everything. And the 265 laps makes sense to keep it there. Because it says, 265 and the guy behind me is plus 5. So 270 basically. I think they are, I'm honestly, this is your race you sent me a replay of, and this is yours. Let me put your replay. Confirm it's yours. I think this is yours. I can't see the names. No, I can't see the names. They're too blurry. But this is something I think you sent me. So maybe it is a stint lap. It says lap 1 though, so. Ah, okay, so this is someone else driving. Maybe that's the reason. Do I have one that you are driving? I think I do. Do I? No. Do I have one? This is you driving it, but this is just a practice session. It's offline testing, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure, unless I have some data. But the truth is, like, this is the new design. Let's bring up another replay. Do I have anything? Iowa Oval. What the hell is this? I don't have a preview. What the hell is this? You can see ignition works perfectly fine. Alright, that works pretty good too. This is a lone qualifying session. Actually, no, this is actually a race. Okay, so for some reason I don't have my. Let me turn on for iRacing. Let me turn on the settings that allow me to view the map. Map is 8, I think. I think so. Save, so adding that there. Let's refresh. I think map is 8. I don't remember. Yeah. This is on Iowa Oval. What a race. Nicola, if you have one, please DM. Please send it. I would love to try it out. So, I don't know what car 2022 is. Let me check. I always want to see these things. It's returning NASCAR 2022 NG. Does anyone know the this is a different topic now, but NASCAR 2022 NG, what class we can move it to? Can I call it NG? NEX? What would you put in 3 letters? You know how I have like LMP3 or GT3 or whatever? MX5. How can we shorten this? Because I want to show them in here, but I need to do these things manually. Anyone know how we can shorten this thing to make sense? Would it be, yeah, please let me know. I'll do it right now. I shall do it right now. But I need your help. So you'll see how it's done as well. But this is something that will be done manually. The class is called NASCAR 2022 NG. So I manually do this. There's nothing, you know, not anything easy for me. Maybe I can call it NAS for NASCAR, or NEX for next gen. But like when I do this, once I do this, if I restart, you will see over here, it's not going to show that. It's going to replace it with whatever I have. So now it's going to show NEX basically. There it is. And that's the idea. Like I want to gather as many of these classes. Like if there is no other car, the Ferrari 4088 GT3 Evo 2020 is returned Ferrari 48 GT3 Evo 2020. So I say, if you see this, it's a GT3 class. That's what I'm doing. But now it looks better as well. So let's see this Iowa track map. Position 4, it's a race 6 out of 75 laps, as you can see. So this is 6 laps. Minus plus 1 is going to go to 0. It's actually working pretty good. Let's go further down. Again, class opponents, 5 is 0.4. Jesus. How does this thing work? N cup maybe. I can do up to 4 letters. If it's N cup, I will do it. Guys, I mean, honestly, just these things, like if you have this information, just send it over. I will update it immediately. Of course, this requires a release, but every new release will have an updated library of names. I don't want to put them on a server somewhere. Maybe I could, maybe I should, I don't know. Just don't want it. I don't want the dashboard to be reliant too much on external information. So now it says N cup. And to be honest, like I can put like up to 5 letters, and my script will resize it so it fits. I think it's up to 5. I think. Yeah, up to 5 letters. If I put a 6th letter here, it will spill out. It won't look good. So any class name can go up to 5 letters. So now this will be cut off, as you can see. NXG sounds good. NGen. So I'll just put NXT for now. I'll just actually next gen, so I'll just put NXG. Ask around, and guys, like honestly, in my Discord, just DM me these things. I just build this library. It's fairly simple. The more information I have, the better this thing will look. It's not about oval. Do I have the radical? I don't. Can you confirm, Crafty, can you confirm that the string that SimHub outputs is radical SR10? If you can, I'll add it right now. If you want to know how to do that, either run a session. So either run a session in iRacing, or if you have a replay, run a replay in SimHub. And in SimHub, go to the available properties and just write in here class. Car class. And it'll give you a string there. That's the string that I need. That's the string that is being output from the game. So if you have that string, give me that string and I will just put it here. So whatever that string is, I put it here and just put the output. You know, at the end of the day, if it doesn't find any match, it just returns whatever it finds. So even if I don't have something in here, it won't break. It'll just return something that doesn't look good, which I think is fine for most people. All right, I'll put the radical in there as is, and you just confirm the string. Kieran, everything is manual. There is nothing automatic. The reason it's manual, just so you know, is that the lovely dashboard, and obviously SimHub rely on information that's coming from various different sources. So the lovely dashboard works with 6 different sims, and not all sims deliver the same thing. So for instance, ACC works really good with classes. If it's a single class, it doesn't deliver anything. On the other hand, iRacing does something different. Sometimes it delivers the class name, sometimes it delivers the chassis name. Again, weird. I mean, I could possibly put this whole thing, I could possibly put it in a JSON file on my server, and anyone can basically just add their own, and I would just, you know, you'd create a pull request and I would merge it, and the next time you launch restart SimHub, it would be there without a release. But I don't know if I'm not sure this is actually, this warrants a file release like that. And plus this file could get very, very big. So keeping it local makes a bit more sense than having it online. So if this thing has like you know, hundreds of different cases in here, then you're looking at a few kilobytes. It might not seem a lot, but why would you want to load that from an external source? Keep it inside. Oh yeah, I mean, yes, you can see I added MX5. There it is, MX5 Cup 2016. It's MX5 now. Yeah, go figure. Go figure. Go figure. All right, so we did that. I think we fixed the class opponents. Looks good. I know there are like requests to add gaps here and stuff like that. Yes, give it some time now. There's a request where for class opponents and track opponents, you have their last lap and their best lap, and then next to this we'd also have the delta between your lap and their lap, their last lap basically. But it's the UI would be a bit confusing, so I need to kind of figure that out. Send me Nicola for what? For what thing? For the next gen? For the next gen? No, just give me the string. Give me the. Actually, I think who sent the string? I think we have the string. Yeah, we have it. There's nothing for you to send, as far as I know, unless I'm not understanding. I'm missing something. This looks pretty good. Nifty. Nifty. Oh, multi-glass. Yeah, just send me the SimHub replay. Not the replay from iRacing. I don't care about that. So you probably don't have it. So in SimHub, you can record a replay from up here, these buttons over here, and then you send me that. I have, if you go to my Discord and go to FAQ section, I do have instructions on how you can record and copy those files and send them over. Basically, I drop those in SimHub, and that means that I can replay whatever you guys send me. So I've got this from Algarve, which is another replay. Yeah, I can basically see the. This is the exact same telemetry that's being recorded in SimHub, and this is pretty cool because I can see everything as it happened, and just test data, so I can see that everything looks good. Of course, missing class. It's gonna come. It's not come. If it's not sending anything from SimHub, I can't display anything there. All right. Okay, I think that was. We fixed this. So I think I think wrapping up the track opponents and class opponents. It's in a good place. I think you guys will like it. My concern for those of you that just joined, going back to the stream and looking at what I had raised as an issue for the estimated lap time, I reverted it. It will not work unless I find a way to do it. And I can't do it on stream. I just need to focus on this a bit. Okay, good. I have it in here then. There you go, Crafty. So whenever it's radical SR10, it will display SR10. Are you a happy puppy? If you're a happy puppy, then I am too. Oh god, I'm thirsty. I don't have anything to drink here. Anyway, I think we made some progress. We made some progress. I don't think I'll be working on the dashboard in the immediate future. So this is I'm running the beta 2 on mine. Hey Jeff, what's up? So I'm running 2.6.5 beta 2. I don't think I released this one, have I? If I have, that means I need to bump it up a version. I don't remember. Dash releases. What was the last Dash release? Beta 1. Okay. So this is beta 2, which will have these fixes, and I'm reverting the estimated lap time because it's just not working. Right. Okay. So this is beta 2. It'll have these fixes. There's nothing more fixed in these. What is fixed in the beta 2, and currently you shouldn't care yet, is how, and this is the last thing I'll possibly talk about on a stream, is how the integration with the Ascher steering wheel works right now, because there will be more stuff. Like Martin and I are thinking and then talking about more stuff we're gonna do, but for now, just want to show you what you can do. Once I can release, I have a few videos regarding the Ascher steering wheel. I think next week I'll be able to publish them. If it hasn't changed, I think next week I'll be able to publish them. And that is the unboxing, which is pretty awesome, like the whole unboxing experience. And installing, basically dismantling the entire steering wheel, taking it apart, and installing the QR. Because as I said, I'm using the QR2 from Fanatec. I'm using this wheel on a Fanatec. So let me switch over to this and close the PIP. We don't need it. So how I installed the QR2 and the SRM adapter. It's nothing hard, but I don't think there's zero tutorials on this because this doesn't exist yet. But it's just interesting to see how it's on the inside as well. So the second video is how I dismantle the entire thing and put these on and bolt them on. And the third video that I haven't created, I've recorded some of it, but the third video is how you install this, the software, and how you set up the magical and amazing dials, this thing over here. And I just want to show you now what the integration looks like, because in that video it's just more about how you set it up. Now I just want to show you what version 2.6.5, not beta 2, but the final version 5 will include when it's released. So in your settings file, let me switch over back to the coding. So in your I need to take a step back. I'm sorry. I have to go back a bit and switch over to this over here. So these two things over here, these dials, these are not just rotary encoders. Okay. So rotary encoders, as you may know, go right and left, which is perfectly fine, right? These are also rotary encoders, so they also can work like that. But they can also work in two more modes. I don't use them as rotary encoders. The right one is a positional switch. So as you can see, I've made a little label here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is green. And green, if you can see here as well, is map. So now when I'm driving, I switch to 5 and it's map 5. I go to 1, it's map 1. 2, map 12, 11 is actually 10, because in the Ferrari it goes up to 10. So either you have it on 10, 11, or 12, it'll be map 10. But it's easy just to switch to a specific map. So I'm using this one over here as a positional switch, okay, for maps. And again, this will be map 12. If a car has map 12, it'll be map 12. If a car goes from 1 to 8, then everything above 8 will be 8, okay? And then the magic happens. This one over here is being used as a modifier. So a modifier is a specific function that, depending on the position of this dial, this is not a rotary encoder anymore, the position of this dial, you can change the function of other buttons on your steering wheel. You have a lot of options, and I will go into that in the video that I will create on how you can change it. But for now, just so you know, this plus and minus button here, these two buttons, plus and minus, it goes up and down, depending on where I have it here. So now, brake balance. So if I go, I'll go down brake balance, up brake balance. If I want to change traction control, if I move to TC, I go up TC, down TC. This is not super practical. Again, brake balance and traction control is something I change often, so I also have them mapped on these two rotary encoders. So even though I have these as like, you know, traction control, I can still have a shortcut here and go up my rotary encoder and down for traction control and brake balance. But then again, I have ABS, I have my map, I have my throttle control, I have front ARB, rear ARB, jacker, ERS, deploy, and I also added FFB, which is the actual base force feedback. So if I have it there, I can decrease force feedback, increase. So you can see that with the same buttons, I have a million of options. Like, okay, they're not a million, they're 12, but times 2, that's 48 buttons. 24 buttons, sorry. There's a lot of options. And the problem, so I will explain in the video how you set everything up. And there's a lot more you can do. And you can control one radial dial, these buttons, or this encoder, or that encoder. So you can go wild. And obviously, both of these can become dials as well. So this one and this one can be the same thing. And you can also have this one controlling this one, which makes it even more complicated. But it makes sense. It feels more like a real steering wheel. It's not just, you know, go up or down. You can add extra functionality in the steering wheel that does it does wonders. Like, honestly, you can basically do anything you want. But what we've done now to integrate this is this. This is where I explain what the first integration is. So the first thing you will notice is on the DDU, let me get rid of my face because you can't see it, is a little AR icon. So the Ascher Racing icon. So this is, if I remove the steering wheel, it loses connection. So now the steering wheel, the dashboard doesn't have the AR. And let me connect it. Give me a second, let me screw it back in place. And now you'll see that the dashboard, this is the Lovely dashboard, this isn't something else. The Lovely dashboard recognizes that an Ascher steering wheel is connected. And the dashboard works and integrated with all Ascher steering wheels, McLaren steering wheels that have the dials. Okay? So it recognizes that it's there. This means that it has now enabled extra functionality for the dashboard. Currently, one thing is being added. And let me move on to my steering wheel. Sorry for the weird voice. So, the problem that happens, that we have, is that I've made this sticker, right? And it makes sense. You have a little sticker here, and because it looks good as well. I like the colors, it looks good. But underneath this, if you actually look at the steering wheel, underneath it just has 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 12, and the same thing on this side. When you program your buttons for brake balance or traction control or TC2, you will probably not remember which, was it 5? Throttle, 6, no, not 4, it was 4. Where the hell do I have it mapped? You could put stickers all around, and you can do the same thing that I did. You know, design something yourself and put it there. It's not the same. So what the new Lovely dashboard will support, let me find the replay, because without a replay, you can't do nothing. Hold on a second, caller. Let me load up a replay. Any replay will do. Alright, so once you load up, let me zoom out to the DDU. I guess you already see it. What this does is, depending on the position, and let me zoom out. It'll be easier for you guys to see. Depending on where this position is, the dashboard lets you know. And because it's integrated, there's a little tab on the side here. There's a little tab here that says brake bias, traction control 2. And as you can see, I'm just switching this button. So depending on the position I'm in, it lets me know. So as I'm driving, I don't need to look at the steering wheel. I can just go like, okay, ERS. And now you know, and a little tab there says ERS. So now you know these plus and minus buttons change your ERS or deploy mode or your FFB. It's as simple as that. So this is integrated into the lovely dashboard now. But let's say I have a few labels here, and you don't want to have these labels. You want to have your own labels. Were there ads? Really? Guys, tell me if there were ads or not. I'll stop talking. I can't see if there are ads playing. Okay. Well, hopefully, okay, good. You guys got me scared there for a second. Anyway, the thing is, I have brake balance, traction control, TC2. You can have anything you want. Like, these buttons are just, the output of the buttons change depending on this position. So you can actually map these to anything you want. You can have this, press this and ring a doorbell or turn on the lights in your house. It doesn't really matter. You can do anything you want with this thing. But how do you remember what you've set? Right? I have my brake balance, my TC, whatever. I have them set for myself. Well, this is now being integrated into the settings file. So if you go to the configurator, not yet, when it's released, you'll be able to set for every position a label. It's as simple as that. I'll show you what it looks like, but you won't need to do this on your own. So it'll be something like this. So in your settings file, again, you will not need to do anything remotely, that resembles this. You will use the configurator, so it's a web page, but you will be able to set for each position of the dial a label. The label will have maximum 8 characters. There's a limit to 8 characters, and the configurator won't let you put more than 8 characters, but you will be able to name these anything you want. So again, don't be surprised. The position here, it's 12. Position 1 on the actual steering wheel is this one over here. All right. So I prefer 1 being there, but the actual physical position of this dial is there. You can change these, but Martin, don't even get into that conversation. That's a bit too over the top. Like, that gives you even more power over the steering wheel, but we're not going to even talk about remapping all the buttons. So by default, position 1 is right there. So, I want brake balance to be my position 1 or whatever. This is actually position 12. So in my code, you'll see that position 12 is brake bias. I can change this, make it shorter, but you can put any label you want. And at the end of the day, these are just labels. They're just labels. You still need to map these using control mapper or anything else you use to map the actual output of the button to something. But now, as you can see, let me close a few things. Sorry, I just want to do something, a live demo, because who doesn't love live demos? So let's say FFB, we'll call it Marty, right? Let's do a restart here, and hopefully it'll read it. And switch over to POV, but the DDU, and now if I go to FFB, it says Marty, and Marty sticks on the side. So, at the end of the day, you can have any label here, And as you're using the steering wheel, you can just switch. If you're using the steering wheel as a modifier, the label as a modifier, and this works on both left and right. Okay, so now I'm only using the left dial as a modifier, so I haven't set anything for the right wheel. It doesn't matter. It's simple. It's just, you know, it's just 1, 2, 3. It's a positional switch. You don't need anything there. But for the left, because you may forget or you may not know exactly what position it is, you can use this, and it basically changes. You know, we'll go back to Marty. And this is integrated in the lovely dashboard now. Again, this will not be, this thing over here will not be something you will be accessing. Like, it is the settings file. You can change it here, right? But you won't need to. You'll do this through the config file. And that is the integration with the lovely, the Artura series that have dials integrated into the lovely dashboard. And again, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. But it is a really nifty little feature that will, yeah, it'll elevate the experience. To be honest, it's very simple, but it will elevate it to a point where, like, you know, I was using it at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Of course, it's a track you don't want to take your eyes off of it, but it's a lot simpler to just see it in front of you and always have that information. There are some limitations. Let me show you one limitation, which is Martin. I haven't looked into how exactly this is done, but I will try and see maybe we can fix this in some future update. Let me just show you guys. Close SimHub and relaunch SimHub and show you one thing here. And then I'm gonna go read the entire backlog because I haven't seen any of the comments. So here is an issue. So let me pull up a replay. I don't know what this is. Doesn't really matter. So I just pulled up a replay. Okay, where's my face? My face. So I just pulled up a replay, and you will notice that there's no tab. Why is there no tab? There should be a tab. Well, even if I turn the dial, tab does not appear. And this is something Martin, I want to work on. I'm not entirely. This is your code, basically, the stuff that you did. So I want to see if we can fix it. The thing is, this will engage only when you click on one of the buttons. So now, if you can see in here in this little screen, if the moment I click on one of the plus or minus, it shows it to me, and it shows as init. It's not showing any value, but once I twist the knob, it's set. And now, for as long as SimHub is open and it's working, it'll always be there. It won't go away. Like, even if I restart the session, it will always be there. It's just a little thing that I want to see if you can fix, so it's on or off depending on it's a small detail, which you just need to know that it's how it works today, but it might not work there. We might fix it for tomorrow. All right, I think I'm gonna go through the backlog here in the comments and see what you guys been saying, because I was talking about this and I wasn't reading. Okay, better one with all the functionality, work with iRacing. Nicola, yeah, this is irrelevant to the sim. This is just the hardware. It won't work with any other steering wheel. It'll only work with this steering wheel. But it is irrelevant. It has nothing to do with the sim. So this is steering wheel. So you can change things. It is just the steering wheel that's outputting. So this only has to do with the steering wheel. It'll work with Gran Turismo. It'll even work with your Commodore 64 if you can connect it. Don't really care, but it would. Are the rotaries lit? Don't look. They are not lit. They are not lit. They are lit as in they're awesome, but they don't light up as in LED lights. No lights on the rotaries. You'd need a flashlight in your mouth when you're driving. This also makes sense why you need this thing. So even if when you can't see it, you just flip the rotary and you can see it in front of you where it is. Crafty, I will tell you that the buttons, the LED buttons on the steering wheel are friggin' amazing. Do I have the wheel cam here? No. But I do have wheel cam here. There it is. I can switch to the wheel. There it is. Good. Now I can talk and show as well. These LEDs are pretty awesome. And I have them set. So I have these two rotaries here. This one I can change the brightness of my DDU. And this one I can change the brightness of the LEDs on the steering wheel. So I'm making like super bright now. Much brighter than before. And you can increase as much as you want. It goes in small steps, but you can increase or decrease. These are settings that I've put in SimHub and mapped them, so you can do anything you want basically. Martin says this also makes the Artura GT4 without joysticks such a useful and clean wheel. 54 inputs only from the 10 buttons and really use. Yeah, of course. And again, you don't need a screen on the steering wheel, you just need an external DDU. As long as you have the lovely dashboard connected to any of your screens, it will work. So it doesn't need to have a screen on the steering wheel. So like my preference, like I don't really love steering wheels with a screen on them because I don't find the screen really useful in the position that I drive. It's more of a GT4, so my line of sight goes directly onto the DDU, not the steering wheel. That's why I created the companion for the steering wheel. So this, even if the wheel doesn't have a screen, this actually works really good because you can see what you're doing on the lovely dashboard. Jeff, you don't need another wheel, and you definitely do not need another wheel after this one. Trust me. You won't need another wheel after this one. That's the truth. Crafty, I will tell you this. This steering wheel, it's the ultimate, is the top of the line from Ascher Racing. Is when Martin told me the price, which is open, I think the retail price is $14.99, final price plus shipping, so $14.99. It's looking at the Fanatec BMW wheel or the Bentley, or even some other smaller companies that create wheels like 2,500, or even the Porsche wheel that's 10,000. This is a bargain for what you're getting, honestly. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have much experience on other high-end wheels, but from what I'm feeling in front of me, I've said this before. And Martin, I know you're in the chat, but I've said this before for SimDash, for instance. So I know, Martin, they have the 5-inch dashboard, which is amazing, but also for the SimDash, for instance, they are comparable. I'm not looking at any internals. I'm not looking at the technology. They're both Volcore screen, but I know there might be miles apart as far as the PCBs and components and everything. But at the end of the day, like when you look at this dashboard, it's amazingly built, amazingly well built. The Ascher Racing or the Simutec, for instance, could be a notch better, but what you're getting is something a bit cheaper. You might sacrifice a bit on the quality, which I don't think you are. Component-wise inside, I don't know. But with this steering wheel, damn, there are steering wheels that cost double the price of this, and I don't know, like, what is it that they have. I've said this before on another stream. This specific steering wheel, the Artura series, is made up of components that are the real-life components. The only difference, as Martin has mentioned, is the actual PCB inside. This one doesn't have a CAN bus, it works with a USB, whereas the one that goes in the car has a CAN bus. This wheel doesn't go into the Artura. The Artura GT4 wheel goes into the car, and it has a different PCB for sim racing. But everything you see here, the buttons, not the rotaries because they don't have in a real car, but the dials, the construction and the grips, everything is from the real car. So you're buying something for 1,500 euros. That's, for me, would be well worth like 2,500, to be honest. We've seen prices like that on the market anyway. So Martin, you're underselling it for me. I would also not be able to afford it, but I'm just saying it's an amazing wheel. Kieran, Martin's in the chat. You can ask him. Kieran is asking again, Martin, when will it be released? When will it be released? Kieran, when you're coming, if you ever come to Greece and it's not released yet, I'll invite you to my rig. You can try it out. Hernanidias says, can't wait to buy this ultimate wheel on Saturday. Nicola, I'm hoping it will be released on Saturday for pre-order at least. Okay, guys, if all of you want to buy the steering wheel, do not forget, in the description of this video, use the code and you also have a 5% discount. So whatever that is, it's 5%. It's not a small number because this wheel is 1400, so 5%, do the math. It's good. It's like 75 something euro down. Anyway, use the code. You're supporting me and you're getting a better price. It actually, usually when you have codes, it's like, you know, at no extra cost to you, you're supporting me. Well, now you're actually getting a discount as well. So go get the code and get ready. Whenever it's released, use the code in the description of this video. Harold, that's great. I am sold. Guys, I mean, I've sold 5 steering wheels today. Use the discount code in the description of the video. Yeah, Martin's also saying that. Okay, thank you very much, Martin. Yeah, in the description there's a discount code. Yeah, it's an amazing steering wheel. Kieran, yes. It's an official Ascher Racing website. There's so much. I've missed so much of the comments. Yes, I'm just catching up now. So you probably already discussed this, but Kieran, yes, it's on the Ascher Racing website. Use my discount code and you'll get a discount, 5%. Crafty, the specific functionality is exclusive to the Ascher Racing wheels, but this is a functionality that, you know, eventually will trickle into other manufacturers as well. It's as long as other manufacturers are willing to work. I mean, Martin was one of the first that reached out, and I think it was, I mean, the idea of integrating the Levy dashboard into hardware has always been there, but you really need a manufacturer to invest, not money. This isn't about money. Invest the time. Invest. Be willing to do something like this. And so far, I've not seen any, honestly. Like, I've spoken to a few, and most of them are like, yeah, we're not interested, honestly. It's kind of ridiculous as well. But yeah, with Martin, this was so easy and so smooth to do. But yeah, I can't say that this won't happen for other manufacturers as well. Maybe not specifically this, because honestly, the features of this wheel, I've not seen them in any other steering wheel. In any. So specifically, like the dials changing screen, I don't think so, because this is something that only the Ascher wheel does. If there's another steering wheel manufacturer that does this or will do this and want, yeah, I guess it would be something that I'd be looking into. I mean, the Levy dashboard is, yeah, it's the more the merrier, to be honest. But for now, and to the best of my knowledge, this is the only steering wheel that would be supported in this way. And again, I've also mentioned that there will be more integration with the Levy dashboard in the near future. So it's things we're working on, but I can't discuss yet. Artur Coelho. Hello, hello to Spain. I've already said the GT4. I love the GT4. I prefer steering wheels without a screen, Martin. So Martin basically is correcting me and saying he didn't mean the button remapping. It's just saying the modifier modes, even with the GT4 without joysticks, is very useful. And yes, that's true. Crafty says, of the switches, it would be even better if it could switch to the current position, like some audio mixing designated, but rotary. Ah, yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, that would be a bit too much. But Martin. Martin, you heard that. If in the software I put map 8, let's make this thing rotate to map 8 on its own. Put a servo motor inside the switch. Yes, Martin, we will do a lot more. We will do a lot more. Nicolas asked if it's the same shifters as the F64. I don't have the F64, but as Martin has also said, they are much quieter. I don't even know, can you hear it? You can actually barely hear it, but you can hear a nice little deep click. It's pretty good. Nicola, I wanted to say, about the GSI Hyper P1. Yes, I do think it's overpriced, but I've not ever had one, so I can't talk about comparing the two wheels. I've heard only the best about the GSI Hyper P1, but on the other hand, I'm telling you that this is pretty hefty as well. I weighed this, so the steering wheel with the QR2 weighs 2 kilos. I won't go into discussing details on why this is good and why it doesn't really affect force feedback. I'll let Martin do that for me. I'm pressing buttons with the cable. But essentially, it's a very hefty device. In fact, I feel force feedback far better than I did before. So Martin can explain why. Kieran, absolutely. Martin, I don't remember how this happened. I think Martin reached out, and it all started falling into place. I think it started with Daniel Newman. I think Daniel Newman reached out and worked on the LED profiles, and through Daniel Newman, Martin got my contact and reached out, and then we started working on it. I'm from Athens, Nicola. Athens. GL29. Yes, I was talking to Jamie. He asked me as well. It's the next format. So how I work is I've got all the dashboards that exist. I work on bug fixes. So like now I was working on a few bug fixes. I have a separate product, which is the pit wall. And that's going to get some love in the coming days and next week. And then I also have, on top of everything else, new formats. So I created a new format for the curved version, which was far easier than the UXL. So the ultra wide will be called UXL, Lovely Dashboard UXL. And that is going to be the next format. Now, I don't have any estimated date of when it's going to be coming out. I don't know exactly how, because it'll require some major changes to the widgets, to the MFMs. So I need to figure out how I'm going to do that, and figure out the design as well, because I need to make everything work and make it make sense. I don't just want to make things wider and dumping more information. It has to actually add value. So we'll see how that goes. But the new format, the next format I'll be working on is the UXL, Love Dashboard UXL. That is for sure. Yeah, if you're looking for a name, it's UXL, Ultra XL. Nicola, there is a teeny tiny chance that I may be at the expo this year as well. Yeah, okay. I went through the entire comment section. Oh my god. It took a while. Yeah, okay. I think today was I just love these sessions. I find them far more valuable than me racing and driving, although I do miss driving a lot. But I think they're very valuable to what we're doing. So today we discussed one huge topic. Nicola, where are you from? You're going to Montreal and you want to come to Germany, so I'm assuming you're in the States? Unless you're in Canada, but not in Montreal. Anyway, I laid out the problem. Oh, you are in Canada, but not in Montreal. Okay, Toronto. Quebec. So let me just recap. What we did today is basically I outlined the problem with the estimated lap, which I reverted back to where it was. This is an issue with multi-driver endurance races, and hopefully I'll work with Nikolai if he splits the data out into things I can use. Maybe I can figure out how to do that and have cases for multi-driver and stuff like that, but I don't know. We'll see about that. But for now, the estimated lap time is what it was before. So if you're driving a multi-driver race and you do a driver swap, you will unfortunately see a wrong estimated lap time and delta. I've tried and I can't fix it, not as it is now. But we fixed the track opponent gaps, the class opponent, we redesigned them together basically. So we did that. And I also demoed all the integration for the Ascher Racing steering wheels, the McLaren Arturas, which I think is it's a great integration. It works really well. I love it. I knew it was Toronto. All right. And finally, just letting you guys know that the new merch, if you haven't seen it, has been released. So, well, this is the old stuff. I was wearing the new one yesterday. The new merch has been released, so if you guys want, you can go over to the store. It's a store it ships for EU, UK, and the US. So anywhere you are in the world, you can buy something. I don't make money off of these things, just so you know. All merch, anything you buy, has just a markup of €3. So whatever price you see, €3 is what I make. It's basically a coffee for me. So I'm not increasing the markup to a point where I want to make a profit. It's more about, just sharing the whole... I want to celebrate, especially the team kit. I want to celebrate all of my partners. All the partners that I'm working with and that have supported me. And, Martin is one of them. And obviously SimHub, because without SimHub, this would not exist. And I think our sim racing lives would be very, very poor. So SimHub is a top partner. SimDash, Jamie is another one. And you can just I won't go through all the partners right now. But yes, I mean, it's the t-shirts and all of the merch, because I have new t-shirt, new hoodie, coffee mug, and a hat. And for t-shirts and hoodies, I have two variations. It's the team kit with all the logos, but if you don't want to get all the logos, if you feel overwhelmed, I also have the 2024 collection, which is just the lovely racing logo, nice and big, up here, as high as possible. It's not those little silly little logos that sit here. It's a big ass logo up here. It's kind of like a team kit logo basically. So yeah, if you want, you can go buy those. They're on the store right now. If you are a Gold Lovely member, You also can purchase the exclusive 1 t-shirt per member gold exclusive t-shirt, which is the same t-shirt, the team kit, with a gold logo. And gold lovely members do not pay any markup, so you basically get it without the €3 because you're already a gold member, so you can get it from there. Plus, gold members have those perks, like if you become a gold member, you get a gold exclusive sticker for your rig, and now you can also purchase 1 per member gold exclusive t-shirt. Alright, and now that I did mention the gold lovely members, I will be slowly winding down the stream. And let me check my memberships. If anything changed between the start of the stream and now, although I don't think it has. Oh, maybe it has. Let me do this, just keep, oh shit, I forgot. Give me a second, let me update this. Let me close everything and switch over to the cockpit view. You don't want to see the PIP at this point. Let me get rid of this as well. Let me start repairing, winding down. Oh no, don't update now. I hate it when it does that. My N8N server wants to update. What else is there? Does anything else? No, there's no new comments or anything. So I will just move on into the ending of the stream. So let's move on to the supporters. Again, huge thank you to all the supporters of the lovely dashboard, of the lovely ecosystem, of all the products that I've been creating and you have been supporting. So thank you very much for all the support. As I mentioned, Gold Lovely members, and I always give a shout out to the Gold Lovely members, and they are Anthony Hall, Augustine Martin, John Hart, Cody Fowers, Corey Wise, Dan Westerman, Daniel Newman, David Beam, Enrique Castillo Bachero, Brian Spiracos, Graham Baptiste, Jeff King, Iñaki Duranona, Jason Rivera, Jared Davis, Stefan Malfier, Kieran Lowe, Chris Rollins, Marianne Christel, Mark Long, Michael Poliaro, Baddy Falconer, Brad Jackson, Robert Robles, Rita Brulman, Sean Reed, Simon Tunin, Tiago Silva, Tobias Hoth, William Martin, Josh Fulton, Mark Worthington, and Mark Gale. Thank you for going over and beyond and supporting me by becoming a lovely Gold Lovely member. And to the rest of the Gold Lovely members, please, please keep supporting and spread the word. I mean, that's probably the best thing you guys can do. The best support. Let people know about the Lovely Dashboard. They can try it. It's free for everyone. If they become a member, they have perks. And obviously support and allow this project to exist. So that's very important. I think that's pretty much it for tonight. Caught up with the chat. Those are a lot of members. I'm so grateful for every single one of you. It's amazing how many people are supporting this project. It just fuels me. It just fuels me. Honestly. Anyway, guys, thank you again, once again, for joining me. Thank you, Martin, for being a part of the chat and answering questions, except the one big question everyone wants to know. But that's fine. We'll know on Saturday. Honestly, I didn't know there was an announcement on Saturday, so I'll follow up on Instagram. Thank you again for joining me. I will see you guys all tomorrow night for a stream. I don't know if I'll be racing or what I'll be doing. I'll be streaming tomorrow night, so don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell icon, and follow me on every other little social media account. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.